We've got a clip from the Joe Rogan Experience about the No Kings protest, which, as we all know, was 100% organic and grassroots and definitely not manufactured at all in any way, shape, or form.
I'm one of the people that has gone along to a lot of protests. There's a lot of wild people there.
Oh, yeah, you've done some great interviews at those protests. Yeah, it's just when they're confronted with a person who's actually asking them questions, it's remarkable how few people know why they're there. They
Now, why is that the case? Some of that can simply be the cargo cult nature of current politics, wherein which you have people that are suckered into an ideology via social media. It becomes a contagion. It becomes, their entire personality because they don't have anything else. And therefore, going to a protest is like going to a parade. It's like going to a convention. It's a hobby. It's something that they just enjoy doing because it's like, it's a block party. It's just a thing that they enjoy doing because it's their hobby and they're around other people that are also into their hobby and they like it. That's one possibility. Now, we know for a fact that there are NGOs that will fund activists and activist groups, and they will hire people. You can go on like LinkedIn, you can go on plenty of websites, and you can find groups that are professional protesters, professional activists that are there to be hired to go to protests and to raise a ruckus. All right. And to make that your thing looks like it's a bigger deal than it actually is. We know this. This is a fact. Okay. Now, what degree is your protest populated by those two people? Is it all people that have just been suckered into a thing? It's their hobby, it's their thing. Okay, fine, whatever. They're just getting outside. They're touching grass. This is the way that they're doing it. Whatever. Fine. If it's all professional protesters, you go, okay, well then clearly there's some reason why. Some group, some powerful, well-funded organization or individual wants whatever they're activisting about to go through. Or you have the third group, which is, I think, what most people think of actual protests is, which is grassroots. People feel strongly about an issue that's actually affecting their lives, and they've been touched by it. They go, oh, hey, yeah, you know what? Farm reform, there's some new tax that's going to cause farms to lose a bunch of revenue because they're going to be taxed extra, or they're losing a subsidy, or they're blah, 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 whatever. Something along those lines. And then you see people that have never protested before, don't care about politics in any way, shape, or form. They all of a sudden all group up and they go, now we're going to protest. We're going to protest like crazy. We're going to bring our trucks. We're going to bring our tractors. We're going to bring our manure spreaders, and we're going to go and we're going to raise hell because we actually care about this because this is touching us. We've got skin in the game, and therefore we are willing to take time out of our day to put forth the effort and the hassle to go and protest, even though we know realistically this is not a guarantee. Even if we do raise the biggest ruckus on the planet, it's not a guarantee that we'll get our way. But this is it. This is all we got. So we're going to go and we're going to go pedal to the metal. We're going to go as hard as we possibly can. That is the third type of protest, or that's the third type of person you would see at a protest. And the ratio of these three people determines whether or not a protest is organic or if it is manufactured. And it also determines if it's manufactured by people just want to get out, have some fun, blow up some stores, loot some stuff, burn down a couple buildings, or they want to make sure that, whatever the big pharma corporation that's funding them, or the high, Koch brothers immigration firm wants to get, a whole bunch of new laws passed so that they can, drive down wages for workers, whatever. All of those things need to be looked at. And the No Kings protest, from the people that attended, the people that went there and attended and are on that side, they are telling me yeah, no, this was like a manufactured event. No one was doing anything. And it seems also that the people that were going there that were like paid were basically going there to get paid just to kind of like make Donald Trump look bad. Like there's not even like a substantive reason for it, even if it was like nefarious. And again, shadowy NGOs making it happen. It was just like, we really don't like this guy. We'll spend $20 million to print up a whole bunch of signs to make it look like he's doing a bad job or that he's really hated, something like that. But it's also just like, it seemed like it was a party, like it was networking, it was this kind of stuff. Like, I mean, it was just, yeah, whatever, no big deal. So the fact that nobody cares about it is pretty much correct.
They don't know. Like when you get into specifics, this guy did this thing today where he was talking with people at the No Kings Pro. I'm going to send it to you, Jamie, because it's I mean, I understand why they responded the way they did, but it is absolutely fascinating to watch because it just shows you what. Let me find this real quick. It just shows you how much these things that people get involved in aren't oh, this ain't it. Hold on. Shit, I hate when I do this. I thought I saved it. I might not have saved it. Damn. Oh, I did save it. Oh, no, I might not have. I'm sorry. No.
Leave it all in, editor.
So anyway, this guy was he was interviewing people, and he was like, "Is this about human rights?" And they're like, "Yeah." Like, are you guys like fully in supportive of human rights? See if you can find this guy. He's got a beard and long hair, and they're like, yes, absolutely. He goes, what about for fetuses in the womb? And everybody walks away. Everybody was like, yeah, that's not human, or that, I don't know. And he does it to everybody. And he looks like a hippie, So he's like, so you guys are for sure for human rights? And like, oh yeah, human rights is why we're here. You believe in human rights for everyone? Yes. What about unborn babies? And you see this look on the. It's almost like everybody's under a spell.
Yeah.
Like some evil.
But they are under a spell.
Yes, this is the guy. Yeah, this is him. This is him. Check this out. This is wonderful. I love when people do things like this. Can you refresh?
Yeah, I just did.
Yeah.
We're in favor of them.
For everybody?
Yes.
How about the unborn?
Of course.
For everybody?
Yes, of course.
Even people in the womb?
Well, it all depends on if they're actually a baby or not.
Science says they are.
Well, it depends on what science you're talking about.
96% of all biologists, according to the NIH. Thoughts on human rights?
Oh, damn. That's a brutal statistic. 96% of all scientists, according to the NIH. And I was like, oh man. I was like, the Fauci organization you're going after. Oh, come on, man. We thought we had that locked up.
I'm all for them.
Yeah, me too.
Especially now, right?
Yeah. For everybody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, even the unborn?
Hang on.
Unborn in the womb. Yeah, no rights for them. Thoughts on human rights?
That's what we're here for.
For everybody, right?
Yes.
Including the unborn?
No.
Everyone has autonomy to not be killed, I think.
Well, he's like nodding, and then he just pulls it.
No.
Nazi lives don't matter. It says on that guy's shirt. That's just screaming. Nazi lives don't matter. Who's that guy? Give him some props.
I don't know. So here's the channel.
What is the channel? TheSurvivors.us.
Maybe.
That might be on here.
That's him. J.
Good work,
Rowell.
Yeah.
ROWL. He only has 704 followers. That's outrageous.
I think, oh, really? Oh, shit, it's actually him. Okay, I thought it was just like a
He's going to have a few more
aggregator.
now, I
He'll
reckon.
have more now. That was very fun. I mean, look.
That guy's nodding along. You can see he's like ready for the next yes. I think it's no.
It's so weird. That's such a good trick. It's such a good trick, but it's so weird. It's so weird to watch. This like ideological boundary. Like, nope,
Yeah.
no nuance there, no room for nuance.
And I don't remember if you
No.
played this when we were here last. I went to a pro-Palestine protest, and there was, there's a lot of people there. Some of them are interesting and make good points, but there was this group of 6 young kids, and I walked up to them, and they had a sign which said something socialist intifada. Right? And I was like, I don't know what socialist intifada means. So I said, what does that mean? And he was like, sorry, if I'm being honest, I picked up the sign over there. And I went,
Because again, like a lot of those signs are so like professionally done that if you look at them, you're just like, there's no way somebody just, in their garage, in their kitchen, went to Kinko's or whatever, went to Office Depot, got particle board or whatever, and scrawled with a couple markers and maybe some paint or something their message. No, it's like these are all like huge. Like there's like a couple things where they had like a constitution, or no, like a Declaration of Independence printed up that in like 30, 40 foot, like all like as big as a football field, maybe not that big, but like huge, enormous, right? And people are carrying it like a float, and it's like, okay. Literally, I don't even know how you'd put something like that together. I guarantee it cost a ton of money. Like it cost like a car payment for people. Easy, no problem. It cost a house payment to put that thing together. There's no way someone is actually just going to do that for this like No Kings protest that, again, I don't see any actual grassroots organic push for this stuff. It's just not there. You don't see it. Because again, what is the actual issue that they're dealing with that touches people where they live? There isn't one. There's not one for this. So it's literally just either a block party. Oh man, we just, we all just hate Trump and that's like our vibe, dude. So we're going to go out and we're going to fall party. We're just like, we hate those kings, man. It's terrible. Okay. Yeah, man, totally. When was the last time a king had actual power? Like legit, ask. In Western civilization, when was the last time a king had actual like legislative, executive power in any way, shape, or form? It's been like 100+ years. Easy, no problem. Okay? Not a thing. Hasn't been a thing for a long while. The whole king idea is just, it's not realistically part of the lived human experience. Like again, like anyone for whom they would remember a time where in which they were under the rule of a monarch, an actual, again, monarch that actually had like supreme executive authority. They've been dead for 50 years. And that would have been people who were like 100+ at the time and like born in like what, the Civil War or something like that. Yeah, no, like don't exist. They don't exist and they didn't have them forever. Okay. Well outside of living memory. And to pretend that we would care if the president had, oh my God, he's unchecked. I'm like, okay, so like Obama drone striking American citizens without any kind of due process. Where was the No Kings protest? That seems like kind of a king move. You were like, nah, it's cool. We're fine. He's a cool black guy. He's the president. He can do what he wants. If he's killing American citizens without they're terrorists. They're terrible people. Like, just do it. It's cool. It's fine. What happens if like somebody else gets in that you don't like? It's like, nah, it's gonna be Hillary next time. No. We don't care. It's gonna be fine. She'll do a great job too. You got to think about these things.
do any of you know what intifada means? And none of them. An intifada is an armed uprising. That's what it means, right?
What do you think like AI defines socialist intifada as?
Let's find out.
It depends what AI.
There you go.
Well, let's ask Perplexity. Perplexity is one of our sponsors. Let's see what socialist.
How smooth was that? He's good at plugging.
I want to know like what AI
he's the
would
king.
say. Like that sounds preposterous.
Yeah.
I want to know how AI would describe that.
Yeah, because sometimes ChatGPT is just, you ask them these questions and went, well, it depends who you are. Some
Tries
people
to be
might,
cagey.
It does a lot.
say that it's an uprising, and others might see it as blah blah blah, and you're like, I've asked
How
you a
does
question.
Perplexity define it, Jamie?
I'm trying to. How do you spell?
How do you define socialist
Intifada?
intifada?
Hold on.
Int
I got it.
I fada.
You see, we're in Britain. We know how to spell that word, mate.
Yeah, that word doesn't get.
There's a lot of street
out
signs up with Intifada on it.
Every day we come out, it's the Intifada. It's like, of course it is. You know what I mean? Like,
People hear about it on Twitter and they go, I don't know what they're talking about. They just scroll down.
come to Britain, you'll find out, my friend.
Yeah, UK's in trouble.
What do we got? Oh. Here it is. Socialist intifada combines two distinct ideas, the Arabic concept of intifada, and the political ideology of socialism. So the meaning of intifada means shaking off or uprising in Arabic, and historically refers to popular resistance movements, particularly the Palestinian uprising against Israel occupation in 1987 and 2000. It denotes collective rebellion, often led by the oppressed, using acts of protest, civil disobedience, and sometimes violence to resist injustice and occupation. Interesting. Also, often led by the oppressed is so interesting.
It's an interesting addition, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an interesting addition. Seems like that's human. That's a human addition to this thing. You know? Socialist intifada refers to the framing of the uprising not merely as a national liberation struggle, but as a class-based social revolution. Marxist and socialist movements view such an intifada as a mass movement of workers and a youth using class struggle methods. Send in the tsunami right now. Send in the tsunami and make people live off fish that they have to catch for just a month, and all this shit goes away. Just give me something.
Yeah.
Give me a small asteroid. Give me something. Give me something. Give me an alien invasion. Just give me something.
You know what? You know what actually has to happen? The government shutdown has to keep going. That's what it is. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, oh, man, it's like, we had the tsunami. The tsunami was the pandemic. The tsunami was that stuff. And you know what happened? The government was, like, still in charge, still in power, and people were very happy to go, yeah, you know what? Give the government way more power. Let them do whatever the hell they want. Let them tell me how to run my life. Not everybody. Absolutely not. But enough people were bought into the system enough that they were like, yeah, go ahead, take all my rights. I don't have any. I don't care at all. Just give me, you know, my SNAP benefits, give me my sodas, give me my candies, and I'm good to go. I'm good to go. I'm happy. I'll take it. Yeah, whatever you want to put in me or on me, I'm happy to do it. Absolutely. Go nuts. Yeah. But he's right. Like, there needs, you know, for there to be a reset, there has to be some struggle first. Now, hopefully, Mamdani gets in and we can see a little fun case study of what happens with socialism, and the rest of the country goes, oh, okay, yeah. Let's not do that. That would be ideal. I don't know if it's going to happen.
Something to fucking shake these kids by the collar and go, shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up and live your life. You're not living your life, and you're fucking up everybody else's lives.
But, you know, we also have to take responsibility for this. The adults, the people, the colleges, all those people need to take responsibility. So I went to a Palestine protest at UCLA last year in May time. And I thought it was run by the kids. There were a lot of adults there who weren't students at UCLA, and the kids, when they saw what I was doing, and I was doing interviews, they were like, he doesn't go to my college. He doesn't go to my college. He doesn't go to my college. That dude's in his early 50s. He's not on the faculty staff. What is he doing here?
Yeah, they're being paid. They're part of an NGO. Yeah. They're part of something that's decided that this is a good idea to get these students to be engaged in these things. And it's funded. That's what's weird.
When I went we had protests, I'm sure you saw, which were about illegal immigration. People would protest outside of like illegal immigrant hotels where they're kept. And you had protesters and counter-protesters. One thing I noticed is like all the pro-immigration protesters, they all have like professionally made signs. It's all organized.
No misspellings.
No. And when you dig deep, it's organized by all these very well-named organizations. You know, Stand Up to Racism or whatever.
Yep.
And then you dig deeper, and it's the Revolutionary Socialist Workers' Party or whatever behind it.
And this is all the stuff that Mike Benz covered. A lot of that stuff's being funded by USAID. You know, Rep. Paulina Luna, you know who she is?
You had her on recently,
yes.
right?
Yeah. Fascinating.
Which is why the No Kings thing didn't get as much traction as it probably normally would have is, AID got really super defunded and really got busted up and broken down. So they don't have the same network of funding. They don't have the same people. So it's entirely possible. I've definitely heard this as an idea floated around that the No Kings thing is like a way to reestablish the kind of protest network that's been kind of like demolished with the destruction of USAID. And I don't like to say aid because it is not aid, it's AID. And that is like it's the way that they're doing it before the 2026 elections. And then, obviously the 2028 ones are the ones they care about. But yeah, this is basically like a training ground for the next wave of political protests that are going to happen with the next election cycle in America. Yeah.
Just her telling me about the Book of Enoch and alien stuff. That's why I had her on. Like, she believes in angels. She had like a diagram of angels that she put up on her Twitter. I'm like, this lady might be nuts. This might be fun. But she posted something on her Twitter yesterday that shows all the people that donated to the No Kings protest, and the number of corporations that donated and how much money's involved in it. It's bananas.
Yeah.
If she's accurate, if what she's saying is true, it's like, this is crazy.
And the leverage you can get now is so easy. You don't actually need a lot. Like, for example, do you know a group called Extinction Rebellion? Are you familiar with this?
No.
So this is we have this in Europe mostly. You guys don't have it here because you're like, we're going to burn all the gas we want, right? But in Europe, obviously, climate is like a massive issue, net zero, etc., which is, I think, a terrible idea. But anyway, we have this movement.
We do have similar stuff here. I think it's like the what is it called? It's like the Stop Oil or like the Yellow Vest. There is a similar thing. It's not Extinction Rebellion, but there is a similar thing in America
called Extinction Rebellion. I went to one of their protests. There was literally 40 people there. But if you have a protest with 40 people and you film it and you put it on social media, no one can know it's 40 people.
Right. You just hear a lot of noise and see people and you go, oh my God, there's a protest. People are outraged.
Yeah, people are outraged. This is a big movement,
You saw this all the time with like the rallies between like Kamala Harris and Trump. Like the way the media would film it, the way they would frame it is like, okay, like, they're going to film a section of the crowd at a Trump rally and they're going to like pull way out. They're going to do all these different things to make it seem like it's way more sparsely attended than it actually was, or like, undercuts the amount of like numbers that they're saying. And then they'll go to like a Kamala Harris or Joe Biden or whatever rally and they'll get super tight in like one group of people that are all bunched together. But then if you show like a wider shot, it's like, oh yeah, like that was it. That 40 people that were in the picture, that was it. There was a venue for 1,000 people. They filled 40 seats. No one was there.
With the public really and all this other stuff. So the leverage you can get with a very, very small amount of money and a small number of young, impressionable people is powerful. And then it goes on social media where it's stripped of the context and suddenly we all believe this thing is real.
Right.
When it's 40 people.
And then when you also have to take into account, if you go into a room with 100 people, at least one of them is a fucking idiot. Okay? So
At least
if you're
one.
being really generous.
Yeah.
So if you're in a country of 330 plus million people, we don't really know.
Easy.
That's at least 3 million idiots. So it's not hard to get 100,000 retards holding signs, walking down the street, and especially when they get older. Because as people get older, they generally slow down and they don't think as well. And if you look at a lot of these No Kings protests, what are you seeing? You're seeing geriatric people holding signs. So you got old losers, not even just losers, but old losers, where this is the end. They're just looking for anything to get them out of the house. They're watching The Price is Right. They've already seen that one. And they're like, let's just join in on the note. We shouldn't have a king. And then next thing you know, they're out there with the sign.
Yeah.
And you can get 100,000 of those easy. Easy.
Oh, yeah.
Easy, especially if you got a lot of money and you're organizing and you get on Facebook and get involved in them groups and you use the bots and all the bots. Like, this is important that we show up en masse and let him know he's not a king.
And it's also as well, you know what I find really fascinating from a psychological perspective is the use of chants. In that you go to these protests, you watch, and it's all about chanting. And what's so powerful is the chants rhyme. And it almost becomes musical, and the crowd just gets whipped up in the fervor of the chants. But you look at what the chants actually mean, and most of the times they're utterly nonsensical. Like there was one which was, "We won't be free until Palestine is free."
Yeah. And then, I mean, I'll be honest, this is kind of well known. I'm sure you've heard this, but the chanting stuff is like literally the way in which they do it, where it's like one person, the leader, says a chant, and then the other people, the rest of the crowd, repeats it back. It's like a religious cultish thing. Like it's what cults do to instill like the ideology, to kind of like brainwash people. And especially in like a large mob situation like that, where your brain is already primed to basically tamp down on critical thinking and individuality and just go with whatever the crowd is doing. That's a very powerful human urge and drive to do that. It's a completely like, they have this thing in psychology where it's like humans have like a bee brain, a super like a hive mind, mob mentality brain, and then they have a like, I don't know what I'm gonna call it, monkey brain, individualistic, doing their own thing, very specific, very critical thinking, rational, interested about themselves, will be, act independently of all these other things. But it depends on your situation. And in a big, giant, large crowd situation, you become part of the crowd. You are like, you're literally, parts of your brain will shut down, will basically like, disengage. And the super social B part of your brain activates, and you just go along with whatever the hell the crowd's doing. It's very difficult to get out of it. If you don't know what's going on, you'll do stuff you would never in any other situation. You'll do it. And you'll look back on it and you go, what the hell was I thinking? That's not how I was raised. That's not the person that I am. Those aren't the values that I hold. But it doesn't matter. And these chants, they activate that crowd mob mentality that is present in all human beings.
And you go, what does that actually mean? What does that actually? Are you not free? I think this is not in the UK, but I mean here in the US, you're pretty free. Do you know what I mean? And the fact that you then, but they would argue that. But then the moment you drill down, you actually go to them like, what does that mean? Like socialist intifada? The reality is they just can't. They can't explain because it's a chant.
One, you got to give them credit. One thing about the geriatrics is they don't get violent. Like this No King's protest was
can't.
Well, they kill each other every now and then, but there was no violence, and a lot of people, which is pretty good.
That's great.
That's a good sign. That's great.
And look, people in a free country should be able to protest. I think
100%.
Again, the no violence thing, good, great, glad that there's no violence. But again, it's also like, it's because it's so just like cliche doomer, I was just like boomer type shit, where it's just like totally zero energy, zero actual drive. There's not an issue that people are getting whipped up about. They're doing this because they were told to go do it. They don't actually have skin in the game. Because, you saw that with like the truckers protest. People got pissed. And they were pissed for completely reasonable reasons, because they were like, yeah, you're taking food out of my kids' mouths. Okay? When you had the farmers protests in like Canada and UK and these types of things, people were pissed because they were like, yeah, you're destroying my children's livelihood. They are no longer going to be able to do the job that they want to do. You're taking that away from them. You're ripping apart the history of our family. You're destroying our legacy. Really legitimate stuff that people get absolutely fired up about, and people understandably, maybe not correctly, but understandably, like, use violence to get it. Like, if someone's going to try to rob you of something, you're, like, justified in most cases of like fighting back and defending yourself from being robbed. Okay? And I hate that I have to like justify, I hate that I have to justify that statement and not be like, yeah, no, like if someone tries to rob you, you're absolutely justified in like taking whatever measures necessary to make sure that they don't rob you. Depending on what state you're in, where you're at, and it's, unfortunately that's kind of been chipped away. But that's essentially what would normally happen at a protest that was organic. It's like, yeah, you'd have people that are fired up about this kind of stuff. There was no energy at this No Kings protest, zero. Because again, it's like, there's no grassroots organic nature to it. They were just told to show up. People were doing it because it's their hobby, and there were, a bunch of people that were there to get paid, and they were like, whatever, we're not paid extra. We didn't get the overtime bonus to, go break windows and stuff.
The problem is if you're organizing a protest and paying people to protest, and if there's documentation that the metadata from the cell phones are the same from protest to protest, and that they're traveling on buses that's paid for with tax dollars, like, hold on, what are you really doing? What are you really doing? This isn't really an organic protest. You funneled money through an NGO, and now you're hiring people to show up and wave signs to give the illusion. Look, this is what they did during the Kamala Harris campaign. They filled up stadiums with people coming to see her. And the same people went from stadium to stadium. It became a job. It became a job, but it gave the illusion. So that's deceptive. That's deception. And that should not be legal. That should not be a legal thing to do. You're engaging in propaganda. You're openly manipulating people's perspective. You're paying. Those aren't audience members. Those are.
Now, this is an interesting one. Should it be illegal? Should this kind of stuff be illegal? I don't know if it should be illegal. I would say, because you're kind of at that point, you're clamping down on a symptom, not a cause. The cause here is that the way in which we have our voting system, which is, everybody gets a vote for any reason whatsoever. We have universal, relatively, voting rights. Even in some cases, hey, like you can vote if you're a non-citizen, depending on where you are in the U.S. That kind of stuff, that's the cause of these things. That's the cause of these like inorganic protests. You're funneling money into NGOs, and you're making propaganda because the propaganda is better than actually, the act of like making better policy and ideas and, actually really drilling down on issues. That stuff wins votes for certain people. For the people that are really engaged and really know about stuff, they're going to decide somewhat on their principles and then somewhat on like just their temperament, because they both, influence each other. But basically, that's the stuff that they care about. The popularity contest of like, hey, like Donald Trump is like a really kind of likable guy. I didn't think so. I didn't really find him to be like a really charismatic guy. I liked his position more than the opposition. So yeah, I was like, all right, that's why I would support him over somebody else. If somebody else had, better takes on the issues that more lined up with my principles and values, then yeah, I'd vote for that person. Easy, no problem. The fact that, if one candidate is really handsome and can do like a plank or something like that, like, why do you think Trudeau got the votes that he did? Okay, like if you look at like he got a huge number of female votes and these things, it's like, why? Was he going after the female vote, and his stance on issues was really, really super pro female and actually dealt with the issues that they really cared about? Or was it because he's handsome and like young and kind of like charming and stuff? Yeah, it's because of that. 100% it's because of that. Obviously it's because of that. Okay? Because the women that did care about the issues were like, no, we hate this guy. He's a piece of shit. We don't like him at all. All right? But an enormous number of the votes. That's what we've got. And that would be something where you'd go, okay, yeah, if you reform that, you deal with this bullshit propaganda protest, inorganic, NGO funded mass movement of like, political rhetoric. You just get rid of it because you'd be like, yeah, all right, like it doesn't work anymore. It's useless because the only people that can vote are the people that have actually demonstrated that they've got the ability to reason and that's who we have to deal with now. But we're not anywhere close to getting any kind of reform on that.
Those are customers.
That's
You're
right.
paying them.
Yeah.
And what is your take? What is it that they want when they say no kings? They what do they want?
They think Donald
Donald
Trump
Trump's
is
bad.
behaving like a king.
How so?
Because, well, he ran on a platform and was elected and won every swing state and the popular vote. And then once he got in, he did exactly what he said he was going to do, which is
Exactly
that
what a
makes you
king does.
Makes you a king. And then he let them protest, which is also what a king does.
Right.
Yeah.
Like no, he didn't send the troops to stop the protests. In fact, he congratulated them on doing a great job, and he said, "I'm still your president."
I saw that.
Tweet's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
It's very funny. It's a very like pull up the tweet that he made. I guess it's not a tweet. It's like, which I still say tweet. I tried.
It's a truth.
I tried X
Oh,
for a
yeah,
while,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
can't say it. I
Or
say
a
Twitter.
post.
It's still a tweet.
I might say X, but you tweeted.
That's right.
You know, and if it's Truth Social, it's going to make its way to Twitter, and then it's a tweet.
Yeah.
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 You can't retruth something. That doesn't even make any sense.
I will be honest. Yeah, that is one thing that I am wondering about. So yeah, if you've made it to this point in the video, let me know in the comments, what is the correct X term? Is it an X? Like, I don't know what is it supposed to be? Like XT? I have no idea. Legit. Like, so I mean, I'll say X over Twitter now, but yeah, tweet. Like, I don't know what the hell else it would be. All right. Good luck in all your endeavors. Thank you very much for your time and attention. Farewell for now.